All right, hey there. It was good to see most of you all yesterday. All right, those of you all didn't get a chance to see, hope everything is going well. All right, today is the first, and we want to get into the controversies about the articles, focus notes. Okay, so we're going to set up your focus notes and get those started because tomorrow you do have a quiz. You have a quiz on lesson one. All right, should be what, about 5 to 6 questions, similar to the benchmark, but a little easier. Okay, won't be any writing involved. Okay, so let's get these set up. So if you have been out for a while, you want to make sure that you go and get a copy of the chapter 7 section 1 notes. This is just for lesson 1. It's not for all of chapter 7. Okay, lesson 1.1, we did state and national governments after the revolution. 1.2, we did the Northwest Territory. And now 1.3, we want to look at the weaknesses, the ineffectiveness of the Articles of Confederation. All right, and this is what we'll be setting up today. So let's go over here and let's get these set up for you. So hopefully you all had a chance to do most of the reading yesterday. I know, some of you all will continue wrapping up your reading, but it looked like most people were able to get through the reading. And from what I could see, it looked like, most people were on task, taking care of their notes. All right. So this is about the ineffectiveness of the Articles of Confederation. All right. As you know from in section 3.3, when you took your benchmark, they had to completely replace the Articles of Confederation. All right. And you're in this lesson, you're going to find out why. Now, just a quick note for those of you all who did not take the benchmark. Okay. You have until this Friday to get that benchmark done. If you need to take it, I would take it at home. Okay. Devote as much time to it as you can. All right. There is no time limit on it, but it will close on February 4th. Okay. And as you can see, most people that have completed it, I've already put it into Schoology. All right. So I'll need your scores. If not, I'll have to put it in as a zero. Let me go back. And for those of you all who have been away for a while, it's going to cover the Articles of Confederation, the Federalists and Anti-Federalists, and the Bill of Rights. Okay, so that's all from Chapter 7, 3.1 and 3.3. Okay, we have notes on that. There's also lecture videos on that in YouTube, so go and check those out. All right, let's take a look at your notes. So as you watch this, um, make sure you turn the closed captions on so you can keep up. Pause where you need to and set up your notes. Okay, so for this one, the topic is understand the effects of the ineffective national government under the Articles of Confederation. All right, the essential question is the same, so just put that at the top. And then, the reading is broken up into two subsections: the price of war and Shea's rebellion. Okay, for the price of war, we're going to list at least five effects. Okay, five results of this ineffective Articles of Confederation, this ineffective first Constitution. And then for Shea's rebellion, you're just going to highlight some of the main idea and details from that: who led it, who asked for help, who denied help, what was the state's response, the riot act, and who offered inspiration to many Americans, to fight back. Then we want to put this into a flow map to show the effects of the Articles of Confederation. All right, and you should have at least 5 or 6 things over here. This is just a sample. Okay, you can't type over this, so you'll need to make your own, draw your own, put it on paper. Okay, take a picture of it and then put it here. It's up to you. All right, so yesterday you all did the AB partner reading. You answered the 5 W's. And at some point, you do want to make sure that you have a copy of the reading questions because I'll be posting those assignments in Schoology soon. Okay, so keep those handy. And don't forget that these notes are for you. Okay, so as I go over this, replay the video, go back and rewind, put it in your own style in a way that it'll help you prepare for the quiz that's coming up. Okay, here we go. Oh, all right. So let me let me go to the book. Let's take a look at this. So you set up your notes and you have those categories in there. Let's start from the top with the price of war. Okay, because it says here that although the Articles of Confederation offered unity among the 13 states, it didn't solve many problems. Okay, number one chief being economic problems, and most of the problems with the Articles of Confederation had to do with money. So number one was just the size of the American debt after the American Revolution. All right, it was 50 million. They had no way of paying for that debt. So make sure you jot that down as number one. And they also, not only did they have to pay their veterans and their soldiers, and they owed American citizens who chipped in to win this revolution, they also had to pay their allies, France. So that led to number two. So this Articles of Confederation, as you know, wouldn't allow the Congress to impose taxes. That would be two. And I think a third one would be to regulate trade. Now they could have, knowing what you all know about um, the ordinances of 1785 and 1787, they could have easily raised, I'm thinking, most of that money. Okay, they could have put taxes on new lands that were purchased, to raise money, to pay down some of this debt and pay their soldiers. They could have um, put taxes on British goods coming into the 13 colonies. Okay, and getting people to pay higher taxes for British goods coming in to raise that money. But as you can see here, and from your reading, and I highlighted here in pink, even though those may have been good ideas, they had to get all 13 states to make changes to the Articles of Confederation. Okay. And to get all 13 states representatives on the same page in agreement was just impossible. So, what happens? A lot of debts got unpaid. So that's about, let's see, one, two, three, four. I think that's about at least four there. The next one was this issue of credit because before they, the American Revolution, they offered credit. It's like, okay, we got you after the war. Okay, we'll pay all of what we owe you after we finish the war. But Britain also offered credit, as you see here. And Britain said, well, since we lost, okay, we no longer want you to repay with goods. Okay, we want to be repaid in money, and that just broke a lot of British subjects, people who were loyal to Britain. Um, that broke many Americans because they didn't have a lot of cash on hand, as you can see here, especially farmers. So, guess what? It says down here, since Britain came in and decided to, demand repayment, a lot of farmers lost their cash, lost their farms. I'm sorry. All right. That could be one. Check this out. In some states, those who owed money demanded new laws that would allow them to settle their debts and pay their goods. So citizens wanted, different voting requirements or fewer voting requirements, better representation. When their state governments wouldn't listen to them, they started to rebel. Okay, now although that's not an economic problem, you'll add that under Shea's rebellion. It is a controversy with the Articles of Confederation because if the states wanted to ignore their citizens, there was no national government to come and save them. So those could be. I think I listed six here. Okay, you just need to list five. So make sure you rewind that and go back over it if you need to include in your notes. Moving on to Shea's rebellion, okay? Because if you go over here to the notes, nope, that's not it. Chapter 7's right here. you'll notice that we just need the leader who decided to help, the state's response, the riot act, and who offered inspiration. Okay, so I'll go back here. All right, and so you know that the leader of this rebellion, of these farmers who decided, you know what, I'm not going to just, lose my farm without fair representation and without the opportunity to regain it. So Daniel Shea was one of those who was a American veteran of the American Revolution, just wouldn't stand for it. So he gathered all the farmers, as you all read, and he stormed the courthouses in Massachusetts, right? Um, and he started a rebellion. Now, Congress here asked for help. Says states, okay, you didn't give us a lot of power, so we need your help to kind of put this rebellion down. The states refused. Isn't that an interesting word? They refused. Let's see, can I highlight that? Yeah, the states refused. Okay. Citizens became angrier, all right, when the state of Massachusetts passed the Riot Act. So instead, the state said, no, we're going to pass this law. You cannot riot. You don't have the authority to riot. That upset citizens even more. Okay. And then Shea's rebellion explodes. Now, Daniel Shea inspired people to stand up to the government. Okay. To, to make change. And that's why he was an inspiration, and he is studied in American history today. Citizens wanted input on how problems such as debt repayment could be solved. Okay, so although it was violent, it was armed, and they went in there to, to affect change. He was eventually arrested and tried. I guess I'll get a video out on that. All right, but those are the notes that you want to put in there. So let's take a look at. Let's bring this back up. So again, if you need to go back and rewind that to get to fill in some of your notes, please do. All right. And so now you'll process the notes, and you may want to pause it here because you want to now transfer all of the effects of the Articles of Confederation had on the 13 states, had on government, on the national government. Was it able to solve problems? Okay. Which problems was it not able to solve? Okay, and you're definitely going to have more than three results, right? From the weakness, the situation is the ineffectiveness of the Articles of Confederation or the weakness of the Articles of Confederation, right? It couldn't solve economic problems, list those. It couldn't put down rebellions, okay, describe that. Talk about the credit issue that came and arise. That's a part of the economic problem. So most of this will be economic problems when you put it in there. Okay. And again, you can put it on a piece of paper and take a picture of it and put it in there if you like. So here's the summary. You may want to pause it here after I finish reading it. The Articles of Confederation, the Articles of Confederation were, I think that's supposed to be were plagued by economic problems and couldn't stop rebellions. One economic problem was, and you can put that in, and it couldn't stop a rebellion because, all right, and you can put that in. All right. So let's see. Don't forget to have, I will have a quizzes game available for you. It's probably in Google Classroom as we speak. I sent that out last night. And so if you go to Google Classroom, you'll see it there. If you are quizzes out, then do the reading questions. And Miss Ruiz shared something real nice that I think I will share with you all. Shout out to Miss Ruiz. Um, and that's this. Now, some of you all may have already completed your uh, reading questions, which is fine. But if you haven't and you need a break from the quizzes game, then this is a real nice structured response for each of those three questions. Let's see, where would I put this? I'll probably just send it to you all in the morning. Maybe that'll be one thing that I'll do to check in with you after you've watched this. Okay. I'm trying to think if I will, because some of you all have done it and some of you all haven't. So I just want to make sure everybody has access to it. And if you want to redo it, you can. If you already have the answers to it, that's fine. But if you don't, this will definitely help you. All right. Don't forget, tomorrow will be the quiz on lesson one. Okay. That'll cover lessons 1.1, 1.2, and 1.3. All right. I'll check in with you all tomorrow. Okay. Look for my messages and, well, not messages, but, look for my, yeah, look for my messages. We'll see. I'll send you something. Have a good one. Stay safe.